Alright guys, you'll be happy to know we're actually going to start making the map now. So if you are skipping to this section from the beginning, there you can download the Bhop template VMF from the description below. That will help you get started. I am going to assume you already know a little bit about the Hammer editor, and I'm not going to go into great detail about the interface. If you need to know that stuff, please go back to the start of the video. Okay, so there's no point of you guys seeing me map the entire pardon me, level, so I'll be speed mapping a lot of it, and I will just be slowing the video down for important parts. So first of all, let's just go File, New. So first of all, let's just start a new map here, and immediately save it as whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call mine Bhop Tutorial, and I'm going to put a 01 suffix at the end of it. Now that's just for version control and iterating our map. The final map will look more like that, but yeah, please call your map something more creative than that. So we're just going to start the map very much like we started the last one. Create a block, change the texture, chuck a T-spawn on there, mainly for scale more than anything. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here is just blocking out the level. So follow what I do. I will be speed mapping it, as I said. The important thing is don't start building any walls yet. You're just going to do the basic levels, start a bit of a flow going, and I'll be pausing the video when some relevant design decisions come up. So guys, all I'm doing here is just starting a basic flow to get me started. Very simple layout. So let's, I'll slow the video down here so I can explain a bit about actually making some levels. So, you know, the length of your level is dependent on the difficulty. Being the first level, we want it to be quite easy. At this stage, I should also probably go through, and knowing that I want my ground to be white, ensure that all these blocks are white, and now whenever I duplicate one of these blocks, it will also be white. In fact, to apply it to the entire block, I'm going to select them all and apply it this way. Let's go with this one. Okay, so distancing is very important in a bunny hop map. So you can see we can use this block to measure the distance. So say that's my first block there. Now, that means the first block is 256 units away, which the average bunny hopper cannot jump that distance without pre-hopping. So that's generally not a good distance. The furthest I would go away for a first jump is, yeah, probably 240. But even that can be challenging for some. So just play it safe. Put it to 24 or even 192. As for further Bhop mapping, you have to build an intuition of what spaces will work. Obviously, that block, nobody's ever going to be able to make that jump. Generally, however, having a distance of 256, I think makes quite a comfortable Bhop distance there. So I'm using a func detail to measure the distance. And I mean, you could just paste a whole map at around that distance with some variations. Being that this is an easier map, or at least this first level, I'm going to push it a little bit closer. And you can see we just got a pretty small grid size here. That gives us a nice level of flexibility. So all we've done here is a good bunny hopper can jump straight across, and maybe a novice will experience some more difficulty. I also remembered I forgot to do something, which is a bit silly of me. We already know what color we want the blocks to be, so let's apply this dev texture and then select an N8 texture and just right click to apply that. Might actually go with an N Devo 3. Yep, so now when we copy this over, it's going to maintain the same color scheme, and we check that's func detail. Okay, so I'm just going to continue speed mapping through this section and finish off the first couple levels. Now guys, we've started just the first couple levels of our Bhop map. They're pretty boring. That's because we like to step up the challenge of the Bhop map for newer players to actually have a chance of getting through it. And basically this part just serves as a way for better players to start speeding up for when they hit the main run. So by the time they hit around here, they're probably going to be around 1200 speed, 1000 to 1200. So as long as we don't do anything very frustrating to disrupt that, we can get away with these boring blocks. Now we're going to do something more interesting and start adding height variations. So we can start making things like a bit of a drop down. And this is where we start creating things like walls, but this will be the only wall that we make at this stage. Just so we can have a basic drop down coming like that. You don't even need to put that there for now actually, but we will just because then we can copy and paste the whole thing. Now, because we've got two elements selected, I'm about to rotate this and I'll show you how to do that. So generally we've got these scale tools, which you're used to. However, if we click, we get these two dots here and then we can rotate. Now, I have my rotation snapping. You probably don't. So I would show you how to change it to snapping mode. We go to Tools, Options, 2D views, and just this tick up here, default to 15-degree rotation. Make sure that's ticked, hit OK. And now when you rotate, your blocks will snap every 15 degrees. Just click that again to get it to a movement mode. We can drag them down like that. There's probably not enough space, so we can drag this out. Alright, so now that you've seen that, we're going to get back to speed mapping through the map. I'm just going to pause the video here to show you an error I've made. It's here basically. So eventually when we close off the map, this will form some of the outer wall that is touching the void. So this line here is going to be too thin and that's going to create a leak. So we're just going to close that off. The other tip I'm going to show you is that we want to copy this func detail down onto other levels. Yeah, we could copy it over and drag it down, but that is too much work for me, so I'm just going to hit Control C on my keyboard and then Control V, and then it will snap it to the Z level automatically, which is a lot easier for me personally. The other thing is you can see this kind of elevation here. So here I'm already visualizing as I'm blocking out what the map's going to look like. So in this case, I would like to see a booster pad there. And then we boost up, and this is more of a design decision. We're going to have people running this line are going to be able to see people coming up here, and it's just a nice way to make the map feel more connected, is every now and then just let people see further parts of the map show up. Totally up to you though. Alright, we'll just continue speed mapping through here then.